Congratulations! You live in the most comfortable period in all of human history. Food delivered to your door. Entertainment on demand. A device in your pocket that contains the sum total of human knowledge. And somehow, you are miserable. Do not worry. A scientist predicted this in 1968 using mice. His name was John B Calhoun, and he built a paradise, not a metaphor, an actual paradise, for mice. He called it Universe 25. Unlimited food, unlimited water, perfect temperature, no predators, no disease, no competition for resources. Sound familiar? He gave them everything they could possibly want, and then he watched them destroy themselves anyway. Here's what happened, and pay attention, because every single stage of what those mice did is happening right now. Stage 1, population explosion. The mice did exactly what you would expect. They thrived. They reproduced. The population doubled, then doubled again, then kept doubling. Within a year, Universe 25 had gone from 8 mice to over 2,000. Everything was fine. This is where the story should end. It does not end here. Stage 2, the behavioral sink. As the population grew, something strange started happening in the center of the habitat. The most desirable spaces, the ones near the food, near the social hub, became impossibly overcrowded. Not because there was not enough space. There was plenty of space. Calhoun had designed Universe 25 with enough room for thousands of mice to live comfortably. They just did not spread out. They clustered. They crowded into the center and left the outer sections nearly empty. And in that overcrowded center, behavior began to collapse. Dominant males became hyper-aggressive, attacking others for no reason, biting and wounding at random. Other males completely withdrew. They stopped defending territory, stopped pursuing females, stopped engaging with the social hierarchy entirely. They just existed. Calhoun called this group the withdrawn males. You might call them something else. Stage 3, the beautiful ones. This is the part that should make you deeply uncomfortable. A new group emerged inside Universe 25. Calhoun called them the beautiful ones. These were mice, mostly male, who had completely opted out of mouse society. They did not fight. They did not mate. They did not compete for status or territory. They spent their time grooming themselves, obsessively, perfectly groomed, physically flawless, completely healthy on the outside, completely hollow on the inside. They had no interest in other mice, no interest in reproduction, no drives, no ambitions, no social bonds. They ate, they slept, they groomed. They existed in a kind of frictionless, purposeless comfort. And here is what Calhoun found when he tried to reintroduce the beautiful ones to a normal mouse population later. They could not function. They had been so thoroughly removed from the struggle of living that they had lost the biological and behavioral machinery needed to actually live. They could not form bonds, could not reproduce, could not compete. They were, by every external measure, perfect specimens, and by every meaningful measure, they were already gone. Stage 4, the death phase. The birth rate collapsed, not because the mice could not reproduce biologically. They were physically capable. They simply stopped. Females stopped nurturing their young. Some abandoned litters entirely. Some attacked them. The young that survived were raised without the social modeling needed to become functional adults. They grew up not knowing how to be mice. The population peaked at 2,200. Then it began to fall. Not from disease, not from starvation, not from predation. From within. The mice had been given everything, and they had used everything to build a civilization that lasted one generation past its peak. Universe 25 never recovered. Even when Calhoun removed mice and placed them in new, emptier habitats with plenty of space and resources, the beautiful ones could not restart the population. The behavioral patterns were gone. The social knowledge was gone. The drive was gone. The last mouse in Universe 25 died in 1973. Now, let us talk about you. You live in a society with more food than it can consume, more entertainment than you can watch in 1,000 lifetimes, More information than any human being in history has ever had access to. More comfort, more convenience, more frictionless existence than your great-grandparents could have imagined. And your birth rates are collapsing, and young men are withdrawing from competition, from relationships, from ambition, from social engagement, spending their time in digital spaces that offer the simulation of status without the cost of actually pursuing it. And an entire aesthetic has emerged across social media, across culture, across the conversations people are quietly having, built around opting out, around frictionless existence, around being perfectly curated on the outside and asking nothing of yourself on the inside. The beautiful ones had no idea they were in an experiment. They just thought they had figured out how to live comfortably. Now, before you close this video and immediately prove its point by scrolling to something more comfortable, here is what Calhoun actually concluded. He did not think the collapse was inevitable. He thought it was a warning. He believed the behavioral sink happened not because the mice had too much, but because they had nothing that required them to grow. No challenge that demanded they become more capable. No friction that forced them to develop the skills, bonds, and drives that make a population resilient. Comfort by itself does not destroy you. Comfort that removes all necessity for growth does. The mice did not fail because they were mice. They failed because Universe 25 was designed so perfectly that it eliminated the very pressures that made mice. And you are sitting in the most comfortable, frictionless, algorithmically optimized environment in the history of your species. Watching a video about mice. Which means one of two things is true. Either you are already a beautiful one and you do not know it, or you are the mouse in Universe 25 who looked around, saw what was happening, and decided to move to the outer edge of the habitat before the sink took hold. The outer edge was emptier, it was harder, but it was the only place where something was still actually alive.